Hey everyone, it's Drew Coolman. So, what I am going to do today is I'm going to be going through some of the actual statistics here in Lexington, South Carolina. I'm a big believer in we hear a lot of news, but what I'm going to do, some people are going to love this and other people would find it boring. So, if you're not a data person or you're not really serious about the market right now, the real estate market, you may want to skip this one. But if you really want to see what the stats are, what has happened in the last 90 days, broken down in a more manageable level of really getting a feel for what's taken place. And also, if you've heard things and you think it's the truth, let's verify it, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I am basically doing my research and sharing it online. So what we're going to do is these first few slides are going to be strictly Lexington. So that includes the zip codes, primarily 29072, 29073. But there could be some zip codes that get tied in with this. What we're going to do is first, let's see what we've been looking at as far as the number of listings sold and how it's gone from a month-to-month basis. Now you're going to see January, it dipped a little bit in February, which is pretty normal. March, springtime, it went up. April, it got crazy, right? So we had a lot of good sales in April. So we definitely had a good spring. May, we had a really strong May as well. Now it looks right now that June's becoming a really bad month. It's not actually the case. What it is right now we're on the 16th of June. So that's half the data. So basically right now, this is going to be probably, we're on pace for probably at least 100 closings. So it's basically equivalent to May. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of this because I know that right now with the interest rates moving up so quickly, we got to figure out what's going to happen to the price of houses. Is the market going to change quickly? First thing about real estate, I like doing these stats because if I just get any stats they provide realtors, we're already 60 to 90 days behind. This is me doing as much data search as I can up to today's date. But anything that, let's say, since June 1st, maybe a little bit before then, interest rates went up massively. Like from May to June, that's when they really moved up quick. So anyone under contract may have locked in at that rate. So that's not going to affect the June closings. Then same for July. Some of those may have already gotten their rate locked. Also, if they're under contract, when you start researching the schools, planning what room is going to be yours, it's a lot tougher to get out of the contract. With that said, we're going to see more contracts falling through this month and next month especially. But right now, typically when you're under contract, you're moving ahead. So again, we're going to probably see a lot more. Maybe in July. I would think August, September, October is when the stats are really going to start telling our story of what has the interest rates done to both the pricing and the amount of homes sold. Okay, so that's our first slide. Now this second slide is the average days on market. This is one of those indicators on if average days on market start creeping up, that's like the first indication of let's see what's happening, right? Then it's also like how many are falling through is going to be one that we're paying attention to really in August, maybe July, but mostly August. Okay, so let's look at these days on market. I'll be honest with you, I don't believe that. Okay, so what this has been doing is this was everything listed, so I must not have scratched it down to residential because our 80 days, 110 days on market, that's not correct. We should be sitting 0 to about 15 days on market. So let's see here. Okay, criteria, area 11, real estate, that's residential real estate. Anything listed from January 1st to June, price range 175 to 325. I'm going to have to pull this stat up. This was one of the slides that were generated automatically from the MLS. These first three were created by the MLS, and then I'm going to switch you to my personal, just multiple searches and how I analyze it. Okay, now as far as the third stat, what is it listed for? What is it selling for? Okay, because we're hearing all these about we wrote an offer for 40,000 over list and lost out. And that certainly was happening in April and May. Again, this one was generated for Columbia MLS. It did confuse me a bit. It's over 100%, but not much over. So that's looking at between 101 and 103%. So basically, you need to come in with a strong offer. But let me do this real quick. I am going to share this screen. And then I'm going to share some of my PDFs of my research. Okay, so right here, this is for March. This is going to get a little more technically detailed, right? Things that people typically aren't going to talk to you about, but I like to know. This one is broken down. This may seem weird to you, but by loan type, because we're hearing, and it has been happening, there's a lot of corporations buying houses with all cash. And we're hearing like, oh, every offer I make, I'm getting beat out by cash offers. And it certainly feels that way. So what I'm doing is I'm going through the MLS and saying, okay, what has closed that month? And this is going to kind of give us a breakdown. 23 of them, was a conventional loan. Now, let me tell you, let's say I'm listing a house and I'm representing the seller. I'm going to tell a seller this. Here is the preference of offers we can get. First one, cash offer. A lot of times we can get the appraisal contingency to not come into play on cash. The buyer still has a choice to put an appraisal contingency on it, but they don't have to get an appraisal. So a lot of times we know we can negotiate that off. And again, this is when I'm talking to a seller. Conventional loan. Conventional loans typically have a higher down payment and they have less restrictive standards because it's not a government-backed loan. FHA, VA, and USDA, which is going to be the rural housing, they're a lot more strict on the way the properties need to be in order to get through financing. So you would always say, if all things are equal, we want to take the cash offer. If there's no cash offers, if all things are equal, we want to take a conventional loan. All things are equal and there's no cash or conventional, that's where you got to decide between FHA, VA. That at that point, I would still probably go FHA because VA, for some reason, appraisers seem to come in a little bit lower at times, but they're very equivalent. Okay, so what I want to show you here, and again, this is my research that I'm just sharing. Conventional. Okay, so out of the 41 sales that month, again, this is now I'm going to only zip code 29073. I'm going to be doing research on 29072 tomorrow. In that zip code, I use 200,000 to 325,000. I know weird why 325. I figured, okay, if everything we feel is going over a list, instead of capping at 300, maybe there is a house listed at 300, but it sold for 315. It sold for 320. So I just want to capture as much data as I can that I feel is relevant to my searches. So out of the 41, 23 were conventional loans. Only 3 out of 41 was FHA. Only 6 out of 41 VA. So again, you add up the FHAs and the VAs, that's less than, the conventional is still more than double that, because 18 is not even 23, right? So 9 times 2, 18. So conventional is the offers that tend to be winning right now. Rural housing was 3 and cash offers were 6. Okay, and again, we only looked in the Lexington zip code. Now, this one is an interesting statistic too. Okay, out of the 41 sales, 36 were co-op sales. What that means is if I was to list a property, I offer a commission to the buyer's agent. Now, that basically, and I don't want to go too much into the commissions on this video, but basically, co-op means another agent brought the client to the property. So you can see 36 out of 41. That's the traditional stats right there. So if you multiply, just out of curiosity, I'm going to do a quick calculation. 88% had two different agents involved in the transaction. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing just in case it doesn't switch over. So and again, I am always available by text or email. Not always, but you can always reach out to me by text and email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, now we're going to go to the next month. Okay, so we had March, then we go to April. Okay, so let's see if similar statistics stay. Okay, out of this, we had 51 total closings, so a little bit more closings that month. Out of it, the majority had two agents involved, not just one. The conventional loans were still the majority. Cash came up a bit on that one, and it kind of spread itself out a little bit more. Now, we did not look at the days on market previously. For conventional loans, average days on market was 10, FHA 19, VA 14, cash 31. That surprises me a bit because there were a lot of cash offers on listings that just hit the market. And rural housing bumped up. Oh, no, those are days on market. So the cash offers, they may have even had a criteria of wait till the property's been on the market 30 days or more to create some motivation by the sellers. Okay, so again, I'm going to switch over. So it went from 8, 12, 9, 4, 3 days on market to 10, 19, 14. So each of those categories in April, the days on market went up a little bit. So now I'm going to go over to May. Let's see, I'm going to look here. It looks like you're still seeing my screen. So if not, I can do this later, but I'm going to just keep going. Okay, so we're in May now. 49 total closings, which I expected more on that. Conventional, 21. So again, on this one, conventionals went down a bit. Look at the cash. That jumped up quick. Now, there's a couple of different, I know I'm like adding a lot of details to some of this, but there's a lot of companies out there that say we'll make cash offers, but there's also something that the realtor community is really just now learning about, and that is there's companies out there that basically, if you're getting financing, they'll turn you into the cash buyer so that they can get the loan, and basically they buy it, they hold it, and they sell it to the person getting the financing. Then they add maybe another percentage point onto the loan, and they wrap that up. So it looks great if you're a cash buyer instead of, say, an FHA buyer. You can win more of those deals. So again, so that could be one reason why cash is going up, is because it's not really even the real estate investment trusts, the REITs, or the corporations. It very well could be the different mortgage companies allowing you to change on the offer that it's cash instead of financing, but they basically guarantee it because they did buy it with cash, and then they just have a certain amount of time that they can get the loan approved for their client. Okay, now let's go to kind of more of a summary of everything. So the reason I want to go through this is just to kind of see, okay, what is the median list price on this 240,000. Okay. The average sales price was 246, so it was above. And this is saying that on average, the properties were selling for just under 102%. So that's pretty similar to what you'd expect, because obviously there's some that could go for 105, 110%. And then there's some properties that, would not normally sell in a market, but in this market they sell, and maybe they sold for 85, 90% to really bring that average down. So I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any interest in 29072. Also, if there are any statistics that you want to know specifically about, as I do my homework, I'm happy to bring it up. So I hope you're having a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.